All right, so this is going to be the martial arts tier list, which is the best to use for self defense. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been really busy with school and stuff, but let's just start. By the way, I don't know all these martial arts by heart, so I'm going to skip over a few. Let's start with wrestling. I'm just going to categorize this. It would be easy, like A or S tier, right? As you think, but most fights start by striking and end by striking. So I'm gonna put it in B tier because you know what? You could wrestle the person to the floor, but then I don't know if all wrestling schools in general teach how to, fight on the floor after, like put him in like a hold or whatever. But let's go with boxing. So I think boxing is just this is one of the best martial arts for self defense. I don't think it's S tier, but I think it's at least A tier because I'm not giving it S tier because you can't really strike like with your legs or with your knees or anything. You know what I mean? But it's still pretty good because good 1-2 could just end a whole fight. Now let's look at judo. So judo, I was pretty confused here. I kind of forgot what judo was, right? So I gave it a low ranking at the start, but later you'll see I bump up the ranking. Judo's pretty good for like takedowns, for like throws. It's pretty good, but I have to give it a lower tier because no lack of striking, and most fights start above the ground. So I was gonna put it in B tier. I change it on later in the video, but it's fine. All right, so now we have Aikido. Aikido does no damage. You could, neutralize the person, but after that, you can't really do damage with Aikido. That's why I'm giving it a D tier because you're trying to, break your opponent. Now we have karate. So karate, you see a lot of videos of these karate guys breaking the other people's heads. Like I know we've all seen like the Karate Kid, like Cobra Kai, stuff like that. But to be honest, it's more about forms they teach you. When you go to the schools, it's more like formal, whatever, you learn your stuff. But this could be useful. You could still strike a person in the head with like a blitz punch or whatever. But I'm saying it's not as good as boxing or like throwing, you know what I mean? So capoeira, whatever you pronounce the sport, it's. I think this is the sport where you like play music in the background and it kind of like hypes you up. You can strike somebody with this sport, but they're gonna see you moving around like all like stupid and stuff and like crack you in the head. Also, Tai Chi, I'll give like an honorable mention to that one. It's not really that good. Jiu-Jitsu, yeah, you know what to do on the floor. They're cooked, but you need to be able to strike. That's why it's below. You need to be able to strike and be on the floor. So next we got this is like an easy S tier. MMA is just the best. You can strike, you can grapple, you can wrestle, you can do whatever, you know what I mean? You're on the floor, even if you're above the floor. It's just all the sports into one. Next we got Forma Karate Kyokushin. Kyokushin is meant to break your opponent. That's way better than normal karate where it's more formal based. This, you go to competitions, you break your opponent. I'm giving this a B tier, because it's not as good as boxing or taekwondo or stuff like that, but it's still a martial art. You can still defend yourself. Now let's look at Gracie. Gracie's best jujitsu school. This is where people go to learn jujitsu, right? From the right people. I'm putting it in B tier. I know the difference between Nogi and Gracie. And Gracie, I don't know. I don't know like which is better, but it's still good. Muay Thai, this easy S tier. Easy S tier, but you know what? Yeah, no, S tier because the sweeps and everything else. They're on the floor. You can, knee them in the head. Art of the 6 limbs or 7 limbs, I don't know, but it's good. Sumo, it just depends on your weight. If you're like really fat, you knock the person over, but you can't knock somebody out with like sumo wrestling. Depends how heavy you are actually, but you know what, I'm giving it a D tier. All right, next we've got taekwondo. I'm a little biased with taekwondo, but I'm giving it the same as boxing because I used to do like taekwondo before I got into kickboxing, so I think it's pretty good. I put nothing in F tier or E tier because you're still defending yourself at some point. Maybe Tai Chi goes F tier, but you're still defending yourself. Last but not least, we're going to do the sport I do. And you know what? I don't think it's better than, MMA or anything, or like anything. I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to put in S tier next to Muay Thai, under Muay Thai actually, because Muay Thai you can use more limbs. But kickboxing is pretty good. I love kickboxing. This is my favorite sport, so I'm being a little bit biased putting it in S tier. That's it.